everybody, welcome back to Fans of Something or just Fan. The other one is not here. Oh my god, I'm by myself. That's crazy. So, depending on if this comes after or before, I don't know. But this is my version of the list of my favorite horror film every year from the year I was born. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there won't be many duplicates between me and that other guy who did the other video. So, starting off from my year of birth, 2001. I know. I'm just a baby. I'm starting with The Others. It is a really good movie. It's getting put in the Criterion Collection either already or soon. I don't know. But Nicole Kidman, and it's pretty similar to The Sixth Sense in the sort of like ghosty sort of world aspect. So if you enjoy that, you'll enjoy The Others. I thought it was neat. I know he hasn't seen it, so this is not a repeat. Moving on to 2002 is honestly one of the scariest iterations of zombie movies ever, being 28 Days Later. You know, you have your traditional zombie like, I want brains, very slow, whatever. These guys are infected with monkey. Like, they are fast, they are mean, and they will get you. 2003 is one of my favorite Rob Zombie movies, one that he hates, but I love to death, is House of a Thousand Corpses. I know it's not regarded as a good film, but I love it. I don't know. I'm a fan of the clowns and his white trash. I should have been wearing my House of a Thousand shirt, but whatever. Now, 2004. So the 2000s in and of itself is like my least favorite decade of horror. Like 2010 onward, not very high on my charts. Honestly, I'm like a big 80s horror fan, but that's neither here nor there. This one though makes the 2000s for me. 2004's Saw. How can you go wrong with Saw? It is my favorite horror series, and this is the movie that started it all. I know it's not as bloody, gutty, and gory as the rest, but this is the start. This is everything. This is where we get introduced to the John Kramer. 2005. So this one is a little different. I didn't want to have... I tried my best not to put multiple films from the same series on this list. There's one instance of that, but we'll get to it later. So I wanted to have some variety here. And this one, I don't know if you would technically count it as a horror film, but it is spooky, and it's one of my favorite films of all time ever. It is Corpse Bride, Tim Burton, the man of spookies. I don't know, would you consider it a horror movie? I still consider it pretty spooky, but I digress. Corpse Bride is my pick for 2005. If you know me, you know how much I love that movie. There you go. 2006 is also a movie from my Mount Rushmore of favorite directors, and that is Pan's Labyrinth from my guy Guillermo del Toro. I absolutely adore this movie. I love this movie, everything about it. It is a Spanish film, like it is a foreign language film, so that's sort of towards that guy over there, but I think it is absolutely lovely. I love the character design. I love the premise. Like, it's set during World War II, and our main protagonist, you know, my guy Pan, my girl Pan. It's great. It's great. 2007. Now this is more horror than just spooky. This is a horror musical? Come on. That's like my two favorite genres wrapped into one neat little box. And that is Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. again from Tim Burton. Horror, musical, Johnny Depp. Say less. If you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor and check it out. It is great. 2008. This one actually is a very recent watch for me, and that is Martyrs, the French horror film. I think this is a very good movie. Like, I definitely felt emotion from it. All positive? Not really. But definitely emotion nonetheless. Would I watch it again? No. 2009 is a very nostalgic one for me, and that is Zombieland. I have not seen Double Tap yet, so shame on me for that. But the OG Zombieland, you got Bill Murray in there making a cameo. Comedy and horror, I think, go together like Rama-Lama-Lama. 2010, I didn't have many from 2010 to pick from. And I mean, that goes with this whole list. I haven't seen every horror movie from every year. So some years are a little more slim picking, especially now into the 2010s. I chose Insidious for this one. I thought it was very creative, very, you know, it's an essential horror movie. I don't feel too strongly about it, but in terms of the other ones in this particular year, I felt the most fondly toward Insidious. That being said, I have not seen the sequels, have not seen The Red Door. The OG Insidious is good enough for me. 2011. Now, this is an instance, I'm a notorious remake hater. I am like an OG kind of person, unless like the very rare instance, like this movie, 2011's Fright Night. I actually love both Fright Nights, the OG 80s one and this one. I think it does the original justice, and what can I say? I love me some vampires. 2013. Okay, another one where it's like, is this a horror movie? Is this a comedy? Is this a romance drama? I don't know, but again, it's still spooky. I consider it horror, albeit a little on the lighter fare, and that is Warm Bodies. I know it's so dated. I mean, it's a 10-year-old movie. It's very dated. The effects are kind of, the acting's a little but it has a place in my heart. It makes me feel warm inside. Get it? It's special to me. I mean, I was young when I saw this for the first time, and me being like a teenager, like seeing a romance movie during the zombie apocalypse, it's like, come on. And it's unique. It is really unique. Y'all have to give it that. For any haters of Warm Bodies out there, it is unique for that ending. And you know what I'm talking about. And I mean, for the physical media people out there, which most of y'all are, that steelbook is gorgeous. 2014. This is one of the movies that I'm probably the most passionate about. The top defender of this movie, amazing movie, Mark Duplass, Creep, the OG Creep. Not a Netflix movie, but that's typically where you'll find it, is on Netflix. The OG Creep. Man, you have this found footage film that, I mean, it just blew me away when I saw it for the first time. I showed it to Edward, and he loved it, although he liked the second one more than the first, but I think that, like, those two movies are such a good 1-2 punch, especially if you watch them one after the other. They're so creepy and, and weird, like, they make you feel uneasy. I mean, there are some instances where it's like, where the other fan guy, he's like, you know, he's a big advocate for, like, it has to be believable why we're filming in this moment, why we're watching this recorded footage. And there is some of that in there where it's like, is this realistic to be recording now? But it doesn't matter. It adds to the spook. It adds to the creep. Peach Fuzz, my beloved. Ooh, 2015 is one where I know this is on his, like, top worst films ever made ever. But I do not agree whatsoever. That is The Witch, the Vava-itch. I love this movie. I so appreciate Robert Eggers because his movies are the closest we will get to ever experiencing that time period in a film. Because movies are relatively recent in terms of like human history, so we'll never know what watching a movie from the 1500s was like. And he tries to capture that and adds a horror element into it. And plus anything with witchcraft and, you know, black magic, to live deliciously, that has me hooked as well. So it is tough to watch if you aren't familiar with that sort of dialect of English, but I mean, if you have subtitles on and you take it at an easy pace, it's well worth watching. 2016. Now 2016, this movie I'd only seen once, but again, I love it because I love all things sort of witchcraft and demonic, satanic, whatever you want to say. I think it's so interesting. Is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It is like a single location type thing, and it makes you feel really claustrophobic because it's these guys doing an autopsy on a Jane Doe, which is like a woman that we don't know the identity of, that they call them a Jane Doe, and it goes really bad for them. And as somebody who finds like it fascinating to work in a morgue or be any sort of like aspect in the mortuary field, I think this is so unique, so cool, and I really haven't seen another movie like it. 2017. Okay, 2017. I had to add one of my favorite guys, not in my Mount Rushmore, but still one of my favorite guys, Jordan Peele, into the list, and with Get Out. I saw this movie in theaters with my grandfather, and both of us left the theater going, what the hell did we just watch? It still to this day is my favorite Jordan Peele movie of the three that he's given us. 2018. Surprisingly, I haven't seen a lot from 2018, and not many that I feel too strongly about either. But I decided to go with A Quiet Place. I mean, I love John Krasinski because I'm an office girly. I've seen the whole show several times. And this movie I chose as my favorite of this year because, again, of how unique it is. I bet y'all are noticing a trend here of why I like certain movies. Because John Krasinski made it a point, you know, to have a deaf main actress, being, you know, the little girl, I forget her name, and she's actually deaf and, you know, knows ASL. So the other actors also had to learn some ASL in order to, you know, provide most of the dialogue for the movie. Which, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I don't really see that. And I just think it's great representation. It's definitely different. So 2019, this is where I said that I was breaking my own rule just a smidge. 2019 didn't really have much for me to pick from either in terms of, because I've seen a lot, but not a lot that I liked. So I decided to go with, you know, my guy Rob Zombie again, the Firefly trilogy, 3 from Hell. This one I was looking so forward to releasing. I didn't end up seeing it in theaters. I don't remember why, but I want to say it was like right around my birthday too. I don't know. And then I finally got to watching it fairly recently, a couple months ago. And of course I loved it. I love the Firefly trilogy. I love, what's his name? Richard Brake? I know that sounds right. I love him. Rest in peace, Sid Haig, even though he did get a little screen time in the beginning. And I want to say he's in one of the posters in like a mugshot. With that being said though, I do have to give credit way back in 2005 for my favorite movie of the Firefly trilogy, The Devil's Rejects. That is peak Rob Zombie for me. That's my favorite Rob Zombie film. I could go on record for saying that. Even though it's like one of his least favorite, it has everything. It literally has everything. 2020. I didn't really feel very passionate about. So 2018, 2019, and 2020 were meh years in terms of my watching of horror movies. I just need to expand my watching, I don't know. So these 3 years were like meh, meh. But I decided to go with The Invisible Man, the remake. It's, well, I don't like calling it a remake because it's so far disjointed from the OG Invisible Man. It's its own thing. It literally, the only thing it shares is its name and the fact that there's a guy who's invisible. But the effects though, I love the suit. I love the invisible suit. That's like my favorite part of the whole movie. So I guess it earns my 2020 spot. 2021. 2021 has the movie ever, Willy's Wonderland. Nick Cage doesn't say a damn thing. Literally, they probably paid him so much money just to show up, drink energy drink, play pinball, and grunt. Best performance I've ever seen. Nobody can top it. I mean, Leo DiCaprio who? Johnny Depp where? Nick Cage. I love this movie. And I know it's heavily inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm a sucker for animatronic horror. What do you want from me? 2022 is another one of my favorites. So 2020 aside, 2021, 2022, like 2023, and I'll get to that in a second, but these 3 years are just mwah, in cinematic history. Best horror films ever. I mean, I know I said the 80s is my favorite, and that's just in terms of its variety to choose from. But these 3 movies right here are the movies ever. So 2022 has The Black Phone. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ethan Hawke as my guy? He's just a creeper guy. I love that mask, and I'm notorious for like hating kids, like kid acting. But these kids, I mean, goddamn, they're great. It takes place in the 70s, so you already have that sort of like creepy, like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer type thing, like around that era, and I'm pretty sure they even make mention of that at some point. It's so creepy. I mean, the house at HHN last year definitely sold me on that. Like, I just love everything about it. I love everything about it. Now, 2023, okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm cheating a little bit because it doesn't release for another 12 days. Doesn't even matter. This is Best Movie 2023. I already know it. I already know it. I'm calling it right now. I'm locking in my answer. This is going to be my favorite movie of 2023. I haven't even seen it yet. Five Nights at Freddy's. It has Matthew Lillard, Josh Hutcherson. It has my guy Freddy Fazbear. I've been looking forward to this movie for like 8 years. Okay, like I'm not even kidding. Because they announced it back in like 2015 that they were going to be making a movie. It went through a bunch of rights issues and whatnot. And now it's finally here, right at our doorstep. I'm hyped for it. I already love it. Like, I'm seeing all the promo stuff. There's behind the screams at HHN in Hollywood where you could see the full suit, and it looks great. The trailers already sold me. I'm in love. Five Nights at Freddy's, that's where I end my list on a movie that I haven't even seen yet. It's my favorite of 2023. That's it. Because I'm a baby. I don't have that many movies to show, but that was 22 movies that were my favorite. One from every year, from the year I was born till now. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this wasn't weird, just me and my lonesome. Well, if you want to check out the rest of our 31 Days of Spooky videos, check out this playlist right here. That's a cool one. Yeah. Or if you want to see the rest of what we do, you could check out right there. That's a cool channel. I can check it out. And as always, keep being fans of something.